Come on. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Spill the Immunity. We're all a little Survivor hungover today from an amazing 3-hour episode. Alex and Brandon are here. Hi, guys.
Hey.
How are you holding up?
Hey, we are great. I haven't showered since yesterday, which that's the power of, having an online platform is you don't have to. And I don't even need to mention it, but I did.
Well, it's like you're really on Survivor, right? Because you're not showered and
You're right. I'm trying to live out the whole entire hands of the fans, so I might not shower all season.
and for the whole season, Brandon won't shower. He'll just
which
be
is
really in it.
I did not take it, in consideration that they're only out there for 26, and I think what this is like a 13-week thing. So bad decisions, are made, and we'll have to live.
Commitments were made, so yeah.
Right. Well, we talked about haircuts earlier before this, and things happen.
Things happen. It's
Good
13
first-
weeks.
I was gonna say good first. I was saying, oh my God, Survivor Australia, because you got Survivor Australia going on right now, and Survivor 50 going on at the same time, and it's Survivor 50. I mean, this is way better than Australian Survivor. This is really, really good Survivor.
Which is we don't say that. We have said, this Australian Survivor, US Survivor thing. I'm not 6-7ing right now. Forget that. But there's some days where it's like Aussie was better, or this was better about Aussie, or whatever. And US is. I watched yesterday, and I typically watch these much like you guys do, and kind of dissect pieces of it. I had to watch as if it was a cinematic presentation and just take it all in, the nostalgia of. Starting early, the South Pacific, Ozzy versus Coach, and then there was Q. It was, I had a hard time dissecting it just because I was just basking in what we've been waiting for so long, and they nailed it.
Okay, I'm going to throw a wrench in the whole thing.
No, what is wrong?
Listen. I am so
Not
excited to see them playing, and I love that we get to see a lot of our favorites on the screen again in the game. That, like Jeff had said, they really helped create, obviously Jeff and the producers and everything, they created the show, but it's the players that defined the show, and we have those players, a lot of those players back. However, I don't need to see a gazillion flashbacks. Please, enough. I don't mind little things like, oh, remember when, and we roll the tape from 20 years ago. Cool. But if you're going to do that all season, I'm going to lose my mind.
So I will agree with pieces of that. I think for this season, especially, I think the world, other communities did find out that, this show is still going on. There's people lining up in thousands to these lines in different parts of the city. And I see it on CBS and this kind of thing on the news. Wow, this show's still happening. I'm going to go watch. And so I think that it was helpful. Hopefully we're going to go like this. The first premiere is here's a bunch of stuff just to key you in on what's happening. Us right here, us three at least, we don't need to see another episode. We don't need to go back and rewatch anything because it's all up here for us for the most part. So I get that. And I wonder how much of that is going to quickly decrescendo in the next couple of weeks because they need time for Mr. Beast to come on, right? Oh, he's muted again. Oh,
Alex, you're muted. We can't hear you all of a sudden.
Okay.
He's I'll be right back. Okay, cool. I think that they will. I hope that it does become less and less.
I hope so.
It was a 3-hour episode, so it was very long. There was a lot of time for it.
Mhm.
However, my eyes want to feast on new things and see them playing now. And a lot happened, and I don't know, if it's, if we're going to, I don't want to be missing the things that I think are more important to show. I know that I watched a lot of stuff. I just watched, I don't know if anybody saw this, but Tuesday or Monday or Tuesday, they did a pop-up kind of, it wasn't I don't know how to explain it. It was for all of the players to come and watch the preview, but it wasn't like a public thing, I don't think.
Okay.
So they were all, and it was snowing and they were all snowed in. And so they ended up being like all together.
Mhm.
And so Jeff walked around and went live with his little tiny microphone and he kept holding in his hand everywhere. Which was, I just found amusing the whole time.
I love season 50 Jeff.
Yeah, he's pretty crazy. But he walked around and he talked to all of the different players, and he did really give them their kudos about, we did build this on, on your backs, the some of these older players. So I just wonder, I get it. There's so much nostalgia to this, but I also want to see, I want to see what's happening now on the beach, those little conversations. Give us more, because he said they do, like, for every hour that you see, there's 300 hours.
Yep.
Like, it's ridiculous. Like, just for one episode, there's so much footage that goes, like, to break it down. Right. And I get that. And so you have to be really careful about what you do show. But if you are that strapped for, because there's going to be so many moments that are going to be great TV, because we have seasoned players, because we have people that know how to do be on camera and say all these different things. I guess I want more of that. If you're really worried on time, then don't waste a lot of the time going back to show me what was and show me what is.
Alex, go ahead. You are audioly not impaired.
Yeah. Okay, good. No, I thought it was fine. I like it. I like the episode. I like the edit. I thought it was great. Sometimes I can be a hater on it, but no, I liked it. And I noticed, though, about all the past clips, no new school. There's like no new school highlights, because it's just not epic. It's just like all the old things are old school. That's when Survivor was great, and now, they kind of just like brush past the new school. And yeah, so that's just my opinion. I thought the cutbacks were fine. And you have to, like, what was the intro? I thought the intro was cool. I liked it.
I wonder if part of it, though, was the fact, because there was times I was watching and I had to like if I looked away or if I got my pizza or something like that, which Indianapolis brought it. It was so much fun at our premiere party. When I came back in, if I would have seen like a new school area, they don't look different than they do. Like Colby looks like a grandpa now.
That's a good point.
So I think I would have been like, okay, what am I watching? Like, why is this person here? Why is that person here? So I think that for me, they were allowed to show more clips of older players because, of course, Coach 4.0, as he calls himself, look different than the first three versions of it. So I think in that case, that's why they kind of stayed away from new era type things. And I think they also looked at when they gained their fans. There was that COVID group of fans who, just binge watched the crazies out of it. And so I think they're really trying to play up, when did we receive most of these fans? Who is coming back to the fold? Who has not seen the first couple? And I compare that with, I was given trivia at our party last night, and there was a couple questions that there were people like, oh, you're throwing up softballs on these. And there were questions that half the group that were there had no clue what Marquesas was. That was even an episode. So I think they're trying to cater to as many of the when fans came into existence as possible.
Bring everybody in. Yeah, bring everybody in. Catch up to people that have just kind of been turned on to the whole Survivor thing. And I get it. But it's your responsibility. I'm gonna pull a Bad Bunny. I'm gonna sing in Spanish. You got to go learn it. If you want to watch Survivor and you want to understand the old school players, you got to go watch the old episodes.
Wow, way to bring in culture. Good job.
It's just kind of how I feel about it, because we've been talking about this and it has been out for a very long time. You could have watched at least a little bit of all these different players. If you're a true fan, that's what you're doing. I've seen, I think, every season 4 times. Like the whole way through 4 times. And then I go back and watch specific episodes and do different things with it. So I'm all tied into all the battles and all of the different adversity that's happened previously. Not everybody's like that. And I do want, I want to make sure everybody enjoys the show. Sure. But, yeah, I want to move into something because before we talk about who's pairing up with who and who's doing what, I have a question for you guys. Who do you think out of all of the new players is already assimilating or working the best with old school? Who is there a standout for you yet? Who's
It's not Genevieve. Her and the Aubrey
those
situation.
eyes from Aubrey was like,
Oh, you saw the
dang.
fact that they knew that they were the same person. It was like Freaky Friday almost, where they looked at each other like, "You're the older me. You're the younger me. We're going to war sometime very soon." So I think both of them are smart enough to try to figure out how they can do that for a little bit, so they don't like. I think they also know that, man, I could turn on you and go find 3 people, and you're gone next week. Both of them could have done that. And they're in a very safe, but not a safe tribe anymore with one of their strongest people gone. So sad. But
I know.
we'll talk about that later. So Genevieve, no. I think they're on to her. I think Riz God is up for candidacy on that. And the reason why is because Colby started off the episode saying, "This kid's annoying. I do not like this kid. He's out. What's he been doing here? I hate the new generation." And then within, an hour and a half on screen time, Colby was like, "No, I was 25 years old when I started this game. He's like me, except not at all, but I still love him like a son." And they might be a couple. So I'm going to say Riz God. I don't want to, but I will.
All right.
I'd probably say Savannah. Well, I guess she made that kind of blunder by not saying that she didn't get an advantage.
Devins is on.
That was a pretty big blunder on her part, and I think kind of destroyed a lot of the trust with her. And then she's not on a very.
And she told him she's a winner.
Right.
Which I think was smart. I'm going to go with, I know that's a 50-50 right now, but you cannot do that. They knew. And I love Brie, you mentioned the other day.
I think it's a combo, though. I think when she said, "I'm a winner," but then later didn't share that she got an advantage. No, I don't think she should tell them she got an advantage if this was a regular season. But for this season, when they know too much, you gotta be as transparent as you in a situation where they know you're going to be coming back with something.
Yeah.
It's you gotta be.
Until you lost your vote, like just straight lie or something, But how it got back from coach and how that happened. There's so much information going back and forth that I don't like. She's like, "I can't tell anybody about this because the information, once you tell one person, everyone's going to know everything." Well, it's like, well, that also works in reverse, right? If you don't tell, then So, I think Kyle was in a really great position. They said like he's so likable, right? He's just such, he's young, he's like super likable, great smile. And they said he's the heart of the team. So people just really see his heart. He's very, and, so it's unfortunate that he kind of left. He seemed like he was in a good position. Genevieve was coming to him. Q was going, and everybody kind of really liked Kyle. So he was in a really good position. I'm not a Kyle lover though. So I'm kind of glad he's gone because I want the new school people to kind of dwindle. And it was sad to see, I know we're jumping ahead, but it was sad to see an old school person go first. And I fear that pattern is going to continue because you see the new school people, they're kind of coming in wide-eyed, in awe. Oh my gosh, it's Colby. Oh my gosh, it's Christian. It's Cirie. It's Coach. It's Ozzy. And they're threats. And the new school people understand implicitly we're on the outs and we're not threats really as much, except maybe somebody like a D, but they're kind of like one-off. All around the new school people just aren't as impressive, right? And the old school people are not fawning over the new school people. So that's why I was like sad to see an old school person go, because I feel like this could continue to happen over and over and over again as the old school people are just way too much threats. New school people are bound together by their naivete. And
And I think it's the old school players trying to be like, hey, we can party with this crowd too, right?
Right.
Like it's the, hey, we need to show our ability to mesh in with these guys. But the thing that's against them is that they played the game so many times, 3-4 times, where they, like Ozzy and Cirie, they're showing 100% trust. Ozzy is again with Cirie, like he always does. But maybe they shouldn't, because they have some bad blood in between each other. These newer era players, which is why I'm kind of glad they did pick 2 or 3 people per season. To be honest, I was against that at first because I wanted to see more variety. I wanted to see the Carolyn. I wanted to see Yam Yam perhaps. But I'm glad they did that because they needed some kind of animosity between these players. I just don't know why they chose Kyle and Camilla as 2 that are well bonded, but now Kyle's gone. So that helps out Camilla a whole lot in this game to do that. Back on your point real quick, I think that, yeah, I'm scared for the old school that Jen was already gone and that try specifically could not even try to form relationships. I thought Jenna was going to be more of the number 1 winner takeout person and get their number 1 out their winner. But she didn't touch that. And she was more about the story arc, which is true. Cirie has the best story if she wins this game. However, way too early for her to even say anything. And I think Jenna learned that you just don't say anything in the new era of Survivor as early as she did.
Well, I think what Cirie has proven, and she has proven this over and over again, if you watch her play and she is an extremely loyal person to the alliance that she forms, right? Yeah. If she is in an alliance and that first alliance that she forms, she will be loyal to you. I don't even think they'd filmed Australia yet, or if they just filmed Australia when they did 50.
They haven't mentioned Cirie doing as well as she has yet, nor have they mentioned it. And I don't know if that's because production doesn't want that mentioned.
I'm not really sure. But when she was in Australia, she was so loyal to Parvati. I mean, and so she's already proven that she's going to still play a loyal game. If she says to Ozzy, we're in this together, we're going to do this together, it's loyalty all the way through. I don't see her turning at any point on those people. I don't know what she did, but here's the thing. As far as Jenna goes, Jenna made the ultimate mistake. Is she came for Cirie right out of the gate before they'd even had a challenge, except for the one on the beach when they first landed. You cannot, of all people, you want someone that you can bond with and carry through and at least understand, and not these newer players. So when you have a Savannah on the beach who's a winner and you don't know her gameplay and so many opportunities, that was, I thought for sure it was going to be Savannah. And then everyone was really leaning on Cirie because of Jenna, and Cirie would never have gone for Jenna. Never had gone for Jenna. She loves old school sticking together. That's her thing. She would never have done that if Jenna hadn't opened her mouth. Jenna did this to herself. Jenna should never have started her game this way. And I think it was 100% a good call to get rid of her, because she just, I don't know what baggage she brought into this as much as some of the other players, but I think that she really made a huge error throwing Cirie's name out there, because none of the old school are going to keep her around if she's right out of the gate looking at old school. Like
they could have used each other as meat shields, which is crazy because neither one of them I would put in the top 10 when it comes to strength and challenges. But as far as the social and the story part, there's this new with the returning season, a story arc that my story is going to be great. Your story is going to be great being the first one. We should hide behind each other and use each other as meat shields on a story platform. We're so used to talk about strength and mentality, but there's a story arc here for both these guys.
Yeah. Jenna should have known. And the reason that they eventually came to that decision, I think the line was, someone's going to be mad when we get back from tribal. Well, the only person who would have been mad would have been Cirie or Ozzy, and they didn't want to rock the boat. Yep. And Jenna didn't have a number 1.
Yep. And
the new school are not going to be her number 1. And it's just so obvious that the old school people go, hey, we're old school. We have to stick together. The new school people are going to, it's just such an easy kind of thing. And for her to miss that, come in and kind of misinterpret, the new school play is playing really hard and getting the big, that's actually not really, it's not all of it, right? That's not all of it for sure. And her saying, Cirie, we're going to lose with Cirie, you're 55, right? It's like you're not the challenge beast either. So framing it in that way isn't the right way to go about it either. So just her entire framing from the beginning was just not right. And yeah, to go after Cirie, who's such a likable player, she's like, I feel really bad saying that should be giving you some cues that maybe you're going down the wrong direction and driving the vote so strongly when you're not coming in with a connection like Cirie has with Ozzy.
Right.
Who they don't want to piss it. Right.
Well, and with season, I think this is going to be a season where Kalo, who's the strongest tribe, it's going to happen, I believe, in a new school era or a new era type format where we're going to see a large majority of that team going out 11th through 16th or somewhere like in the middle where they just get slaughtered by the other two tribes. And or at least half the tribe is going to be gone within that time, I think. So losing a challenge this early, it's rarely the weakest player who lost it for you. I never did think, even though Cirie kept trying, that she was that was not going to be the reason she was going to go home. So as soon as Savannah uttered those words that she's in trouble, I knew right there that it was not going to be Cirie.
What was the call to put her on that particular task?
Insane.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, Cirie gave it her all, and I don't fault her for that. But she is not the one. I mean, whoever was calling the shots or was putting that stuff together and saying, that was not the thing.
Well, literally anybody else.
It's a really hard thing to do.
It is.
And Bree, go ahead. You
have to have, I was trying to think and I was going to go back, but it's like, to find, like, you can't just go back and find things, even though we have AI. I probably could have looked it up, but has she done that particular and been successful at it to say, oh, I can do it, I've done it before? Like, that's like what I was trying to think in my brain is, oh, she's done this in chat. I need chat to help me out. Has she done this before where she's been really successful? I don't get it.
I can't think of a single Cirie successful anything when it comes to a challenge besides her overcoming a fear or an anxiety. But I think more so that's the piece, Bree, that I would take over all these video vignettes is them doing what Aussie Survivor does and show me the strategy of who's going where, especially for a bunch of people with personalities. It's so much fun to watch a dysfunctional team talk about who's going to do what. And it's great TV. So I'm curious as to why Survivor doesn't take advantage of that and show kind of, hey, Cirie, we're going to put you here. We're going to put you on puzzles over here. That's the piece I would want. I don't know why they put Cirie. Maybe it was like, oh, if it's just throwing an object to a thing, I guess I'm available for that type. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it's a really good point. It's like they don't show them choosing the positions, and there's always the person, oh, well, I'm really good at puzzles. No, I'm good at puzzles. And the person who says that they're good fails. And, then there's that history and that, animosity, and they just don't show any of that anymore. It's just get to the challenge. Here's the challenge. Okay. And there's no strategy that goes into it.
And I want that strategy. I like that strategy because that strategy was out the window last night. So I think, let's be clear, in my opinion, my personal opinion, y'all don't have to agree with me. I think Cirie was set up to fail in that challenge. Like that wasn't her skill set to be throwing that ball to pull down the thing.
Did everybody have to do something? Was that part of the deal?
No, because I saw Ozzy do two things.
Well, I think, she could have pushed the box or just something else that, like, Christian said, that was the bottleneck of the challenge.
Yeah.
Because the other ones were just not that difficult.
Yeah. Well, the puzzle is always hard. You have to have a puzzle person.
Yeah. It wasn't a super complex puzzle, but it wasn't like someone's going to get completely stuck on it. Johanna says, Brie.
Cirie's performance was straight up embarrassing. No way around it. I guarantee you the majority of viewers were screaming at their TV saying, who decided she should do this? 100%. And I think Cirie was also feeling she knew. She was hard on herself. She knew that she screwed it up. And I don't know why she was put there.
She was so distraught by it. I'm like, Cirie, this is your brand. What are you talking about? Why are you so distraught? Like, this is who you are. You are the, that's kind of your shtick, girl. That's okay.
But if you're ever on the show, again, this is 0% experience on my part. But
I
I'm
was
gonna
gonna say, because you have so much experience.
I don't want to advise people anyways. I slept at the Red Roof Inn last night. So with the whole experience, she landed it like after the first or second throw, after she'd had time to think, because Kyle broke something again on episode 1, which again, my boy broke the glass in the challenge and now broken tendon. What's up, Kyle?
Achilles me, right? Achilles me.
Alex would like you if you didn't break anything, not at all. Alex doesn't like you at all. It's so sad. But with that said, I think that, to take the moment to just sit back, you could tell she was in her head. You're in a tight race. I'm not glad that he hurt himself.
It's right. It was the right time for the team to call a timeout.
Right.
Let's just
Kyle's
say that.
injury helped Cirie out a lot.
Use a timeout.
Thank you.
Let's do that.
He was looking over at Cirie. She's like, she's going to be voted out. I'm going to break my tendon for Cirie.
Exactly.
That was a good
Hey,
one.
we did though. We did see, because of the Kyle injury, we did see our first winner go. So,
Yes.
I mean, there's now 2 winners left. I want to finish up because I have an opinion on who I think was, doing the best job. I actually have 2. One of them is really hard for me to even say, but I think
Are you about to cry?
I think Q's doing okay. I think Q.
Oh,
Q. I actually think he's doing okay. But my winner pick, or my pick for this week of the one that's fitting in the best, is actually Emily. And the reason I say that is she's so unassuming. She's definitely fangirling, and she's so unassuming, where Riz has this huge personality and he's hard to get along with, and then you start to like him and whatever. And Savannah's opinionated, and all these players like have their kind of like thing. And Emily is kind of coming in and just like, you guys like me? And it's a sweetness to her in this season that I think is going to be very appealing. And I can see that taking her a lot farther than some of these other players. That's my personal opinion. But I do think Q's doing a pretty good job.
It appears to me that I'm going to agree. Appears to me that you have the old school players, and then you have seasons like 30 through 40 that I think are really safe because of this new era, old era fight. And we have these people in the middle. I think that always works out for these returning seasons. So the fact that she is new school, but she has a link with a lot of nerds that got picked in that group, right? So we have the Mike White, who's now like buff Mike White. We have Christian, and I'll throw in maybe a Devins. Devins is kind of like this kind of formidable. He can be kind of nerdy and be kind of athletic and be kind of whatever he wants to be, except he fell at one time, which was fun to watch. And so I think that with Emily having that kind of that relationship with Christian helps her out significantly over all the other new era players. So I would agree with that right now. I think Emily's
she tied it up pretty good with Devins and Christian, and I think that's a smart little group right there.
Sure, if she can get them out later on, if she can kind of drop the nice thing and kind of be cutthroat, and I think she has it in her. She learned a lot over that season that she was in, so she's in a good place.
Alex, do you agree? Do you like my Emily pick?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Christian and Devins are in a good position on that drive, and they are kind of in control of that whole dynamic over there. And you bring Emily into that, and they're going to have a lot more. The reason that I don't think Emily is going to be, yes, she could probably kind of scurry in there, but I don't think she's ever going to be able to command it and drive the vote. I think she feels out of place. She's not going to be somebody to like. I think she'll be like, whispering and could manipulate it, but she's never going to really drive the game, right? She's never going to be somebody like, a Genevieve who's super confident and is new school and is like, you know what, these people, I'll kind of take over and I'll do this, or a D. She's just not that personality. And so I said this in my whole pick, in our draft. I said if she wins, it's because she'll inherit all the gifts from all the previous nerds. And that's the only way that she could win, which it's possible. But I don't think I think she's in a good position, and it makes sense that she was aligned with all the nerds and stuff. But I think that Aubrey or even Genevieve is likely to sniff her out. And be more of an alpha female and get, kind of get her.
Yeah, true. I like I said, I was watching that live that Jeff did, and here, one of the things I'm listening to them and hearing what they're saying, and that's always interesting. But my whole thing is I'm watching, who are you standing with? Who were you talking with before Jeff walked up to you? Who comes over? Where are you positioned in the group? So if there's like 3 of them, is that new school person on the outside of that, or are they right in the middle of it? And one of the people I saw that seemed to be right in the middle of these conversations quite a few times was Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at like how I watched the episode, and then also how I see them now, and who's drawn to, like, because they're just at a party drinking wine, having fun. It's going to be the premiere. They're going to see it for the first time. So they're chilling with their buddies, and who's hanging together. And I did see Charlie hanging out with like Ozzy and Cirie, and like, there's,
you didn't hear much from Charlie on the episode, though. You didn't really hear much from him. Mm-hmm.
But I'm wondering.
But I could see that because he's a little bit on the outside. He doesn't really have a strong alliance with really anybody coming into the game. He's going to be kind of like more like a sniper type of thing, right? Where he's really picking his shots. He's picking his thing. He's not going to overcommit at the beginning, and he's going to, I think, be kind of flexible. But he's still really strong. He's good at puzzles. He's smart. He's athletic. So he's well-rounded and can, I think you're right, Brie, float between kind of the two and isn't attached, to somebody's head. Not a duo. I
agree. Yeah. And I've just been watching some of Charlie's season, and I still don't know how I feel about him. If I really like the way he plays, I don't know.
Isn't he the Swiftie?
Yeah, he's the Swiftie. Yeah. He got to actually go to a lot of concerts because with Ben to a lot of stuff.
Maybe we can hook him up with Travis Kelce's mom, because she's on Traders.
I know she's on.
That was the worst.
Short. I know. I want to talk a little bit about, and it's not just so much with those guys, but when you're trying to make a deal during a challenge, it never goes right. So I want to talk a little bit about Coach and Ozzy on the beach with this whole thing going on of trying to get the key. Oh, I know. He had to do that, but that's whatever. And he wears a toe ring. So, okay. Joanna's like, yes, Charlie's wearing his
40-year-old toe ring.
I know. I would not be taking, I don't think I would take Coach's toe ring off his foot and put it on my foot.
Gross.
That's next evacuation from the game, Charlie.
Yeah, well, loses 2 toes.
Gangrene. He's out.
What's our alliance name? Gangrene.
There it is.
We're the gang.
So you're referring to the Q versus South Pacific challenge with the key and the long. Can I say first? Let's do compliment sandwich style. I love the fact that they brought in the game with the sticks and put them all together.
I would just want to run away if that game came out. Seriously.
Huge fan. The fact that they're both jumping up on those poles and Ozzy's just like up there in 3 seconds and down in 1.
That was awesome. When we started that challenge and Ozzy just like right up the pole.
Q narrating it, saying we've been up for 45 minutes. Like that's the narrator I wanted. Ozzy's the challenge beast I want to see episode 1, and Coach is the little snake. I'm going to play this game with honor, and then is the first person to be cut. Like, I want his dictionary because it's
What's
different.
Your definition? Yeah, definitions are definitely different.
Different.
That was like classic Aikido, like you're like Ozzy comes and you like it made sense to me. Like I understood it. This honor, it's just such an easy, it just gets Coach's goat every single time. He just has such an obvious goat. You can just totally provoke him and
he's already
instigate him.
Martin
He just goes off.
Jr.
I mean, it's just a simple, you just flick it and he's done. Crumbles.
We're going to get Sir Walter Riley. We're going to get William Wallace. We're going to get all the quotes this season. Like he's already coaching it up. which is what we all wanted to see and hate all at the same time.
Oh yeah, we wanted that brought back. I mean, no doubt. But he's already living up to the legend that he is. But it was, you can't believe it. So here, like, this is the perfect comment. Coach believing his bullshit like before. Hilarious. Yes.
I love it. I'm here for it. I don't want him to win. I don't think he's going to win. I think he's already put himself on the I won't win list in one episode.
I think he's put himself, I don't know if you make merge list.
I hope he does. I want him here the whole time, but I want him gone and a no vote third.
He kind of survives better in the edits, like the TikTok edits where it's just his epic quotes and you kind of forget about his less sage moments.
Yeah.
When the mask slips a little bit, so he's a little bit more epic. And then he starts on the show again. You're like, you know what? This is I had to remember. Actually, this is a little bit more true Coach than the TikTok edits.
And he was kind of Coach until it wasn't until he heard Ozzy. See what was Ozzy was making fun of, or Coach thought Ozzy was making fun of him for something. He said it brought me back to South Pacific, and so now he was trying for Coach 4.0, and now he's triggered, and so now his mind says back at South Pacific. I'm here for it. I love Coach. It's exciting. It's exciting. He's gonna be quoting Big Bird next episode.
I liked Mike White. He's like, I told Coach, and what word did he use? It was like some Hollywood writer word. I don't know, but he's like, and his eyes were like, Mike White's so funny. I'm so glad Mike White is on. He's the best.
Yeah.
And speaking of Mike White came to play. This boy has got himself quite the six pack, and
Magic Mike.
Now he's gone to Magic Mike.
Wow.
I was surprised by that, but I could see it. I thought it was really great of him. I think he's just because we know he plays for the love. I mean, they all are playing for the love of the game, but truly he's got probably more money than most of them, and he's way more successful.
Yeah.
Not even in the same ball. And he's got all these other things that he's doing. And White Lotus, I think he was just filming. He's filming White Lotus right now and all these different things. And so for him to not only am I going to come back and play because it's such an honor and such a blast, I'm going to get ripped. I'm going to put in the work and do it and show up. And everyone was really surprised. And I thought it was fantastic. I was so happy for Mike.
And did you love his little dance he did on the way back out, where he was like this?
Yeah,
that was so good. He is playing the game that Jenna should have been playing. Not that she should have been dancing and any of the other stuff. But he has this, hey, you can be on White Lotus thing that Jenna doesn't have. But what she should have done is exactly what he did, and that is to just lay low, just be the old person on the tribe, and just settle for three episodes. You can do it for 3 episodes and be fine. So I think he did fantastic with the cards he was given and the tribe he was given.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch his game this season because I've always liked Mike, but I really like him this season because there's just something more pure about his being there than anything else. And we've had a lot of people that have come in with a lot of money and they're like, oh, I just want to do this because I can't buy my way and I have to be able to do it. But it still never just comes across very well. And Mike, you can just see it. He just every cell, every pore in his body is exuding this reverence for the game, and it just makes it's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, to see if this works for you. If you ever have somebody go, oh, if you could go back in time and tell yourself something 20 years ago, what would you tell yourself? This is Mike going back in time and playing with the knowledge that he has, but as that first time player almost, right? Because he's just got this exuberance. I can't believe I'm on the beach. I can't believe it's Jeff Probst. There's just something childlike to him a bit. So I kind of feel like he's gone back in time and told himself, I don't know. That's kind of out there.
I think it's easy for somebody to be so successful as Mike White to lose that childhood like exuberance,
Wonder,
you need to
yeah.
be seen as somebody who's authentic and somebody who actually can appear to be somebody who doesn't, or who could use a win, who wants to win this, and I think he has that. He's done a great job by becoming authentic and being like everybody else. And I think he knows he's everybody else. I think that's just who he is. I don't think he thinks he's better than everybody else on that island. At least he hasn't shown that in the game. So I really appreciate that about him.
He was such a late bloomer. I mean, the first time David versus Goliath, he was 47. Now he's 54. So you don't change that much once you're 47. And when he went on David and Goliath, he was famous. He did School of Rock. He was in movies, but White Lotus is totally different. I mean, it's the most popular show. And so all of his success came so late. And when he did I think he won an Emmy, and at his Emmy speech, he's even like, I'm playing Survivor. He can't even, like, that's where, like, I think he's just an awesome guy. I really, but one interesting thing, Mike White and Christian. So Mike White said, when I was coming on, I had to tell Angelina and I had to tell Christian. They communicate. Mike, if you don't know this, he put all of the people that were on his Survivor season in White Lotus. They had cameos of many people who were on his Survivor season in White Lotus. And so he's staying in touch with Christian. He's staying in touch with Angelina. Mike is a nerd. The nerds are kind of dominant right now. This was my prediction. Nerd takeover. Mike White. Let's go.
Question is, did Mike make an enemy by telling about Coach's key stealing before the whole tribe? You're not sure. I don't. I think knowledge is power. I think anytime you get a bit of knowledge, if you can get something, that I think it helps you when you're sharing knowledge that doesn't really, you're not going out and saying, I found an advantage or I have an idol, but you're sharing a bit about somebody else that kind of was true. Like there was that little snipe that Coach did. I don't blame him for doing it, but if your platform, if your soapbox is honor and all this stuff, and then you immediately don't do that, I think it's juicy gossip, and you got to spill that tea.
Yeah, I think one of the words is, when it comes to knowledge, is power type stuff and who you share things with. At New Era was very, very guns a-blazing. Everybody knew, everybody had an idol at all times and everything like that. So I think the key word there in Garty Y9S's quote, which I hope that's your birth name, was the whole. Like, did he need to tell everybody that, or is that just a piece of information to tell a couple people? It also depends on how you say it. If you say it like in a conversation style where you're just like, hey, here's some information. But if you sound too strategic about it, people are going to suss that out. So I think that there's a way to say it to everybody, and I think there's a time to say it to everybody. They haven't had to worry about tribal yet, so maybe it is just planting seeds here and there. I'm curious to see if Mike White is going for Coach, or if this is just hey, I don't want to be the first one on my tribe, so I'm just going to pick somebody. I don't think Coach is going to be a strong impact or enemy of Mike White. That's kind of a cool fight, but I don't see it happening. So maybe I think early on it's important to make sure it's just not you. And so if you have to pin something on Coach, go for it. So I don't think it was a bad move. Coach, though, is very revenge oriented.
Oh yeah.
Comparatively, we saw it in the preview for the next episode. Him and Ozzy are sparring again, and I think that maybe this is the story of redemption, right? Can we change who we are?
Yeah.
And you look at Mike White, he's the same guy. Mike White went very far. Ozzy and Coach, they always went short. Cirie always gets short. Do winners win? Will we see a winner? Is it going to be the people who've gone far in the game previously go far in the game this time?
Right.
And that's kind of the, the meta story here is like, will these people redeem themselves? Can they change and can they win? And I think that's maybe the story with the old school people is they can't change. They can't. They are who they are, and it's been 20 years and that's only solidified and only been reaffirmed by people telling them who they are based upon the person that they were on Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So will this be an advantage for the new school people because there isn't that affirmation of this is who you are and you fit into this box, and they're playing, the old school Survivor people were characters and they've kind of like lived that character and benefited from that character for the last 20, 30 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, especially the older you get, the harder it is for you to change who you are. And right. Coach had more gray hairs than brown hairs on that island. So I think that you can change yourself over time for sure, but to not be able to change one aspect of your life, because he doesn't go around playing Survivor every single year of his life. So he hasn't experienced that mindset again. So I really think that there was a trigger that took place, and he jumped right back into who Coach was seasons ago. And I'm here for it.
All right. Well, we got about 13 minutes left. I got 2 questions left that I got to get to today. The first one is, who do we think is going home next week? Because I have a feeling we're probably going to see 2. We have 24 players. We have 12 episodes plus a finale. I think we're probably going to see 2 people go again.
I'd be curious to see what that looks like, especially since we had a medevac, and how that changes things up for them. But I could see 2, so I'll select 2. I think Callow is very strong. I don't see them going to tribal council yet. So it would have to be, I think Cirie does work magic. I still think that there's something to that going to the reward ceremony with Oscar and Cirie and Joe. So I think they're quickly going to become, and I think it's going to be the fact that Joe did trust people, and Joe backs out of things. He's like, I don't know, I don't trust this person anymore. He trusts somebody until he doesn't. And I think something's going to happen for him to lose trust with somebody. Therefore, I think it's going to be Savannah still. I think she's still not in a good situation, just because she's a past winner. And then I believe on the other side of things, it could be Genevieve because of her and the Aubrey situation. So I'm going to go with Genevieve and the other person I said. Yeah.
Alex?
Somebody said Ozzy changed. He didn't take. I actually don't think Ozzy changed. Fair Play said he's always off vibes, and he has this strict, I'm with Cirie, wore it on his sleeve, totally told it. He's like, I'm going to be strategic this time. And then he goes out and he's like, no, Cirie. That's not strategic, dude. Like, it's the same Ozzy. I think actually Aubrey's in a lot of trouble because she doesn't really have an alliance. That whole Vatu tribe is weird. Kyle, Angelina, Aubrey, Colby, Genevieve, Q, Rizzo, Stephanie. Like, that's a weird tribe. Like, that's not good. So I think that Aubrey doesn't have a good alliance there. I think Genevieve is going to be really good at getting in with Q. I think that alliance is much weaker without Kyle. So I think actually Aubrey's in a bad position. And then, probably another Sela, which will hopefully be Savannah. Wishful thinking there, but I'm hoping Savannah because, again, they don't want to piss off Ozzy. It's too big of a move. I think Rick Devens and Christian understand we need to keep old school strong. They're not articulating that, but I think it is something that they realize they need to do. But
I will fight back on the Ozzy thing, not because he's on my team and I need to, but he's on my team and I need to. He, I think, did change. I think that Gardy does bring up a little bit of him. And I think they made that into a major thing than they needed to. I think Ozzy didn't choose it because he changed. I think he kind of read the room a little bit better, that it's not as worth as a extra vote for him. I think he changed in the way that first his back is not as good. I loved him saying, "Oh, my back." So that was funny. But I do think that he is, I think, trusting Cirie differently. I know that he trusted her a lot and kind of lost his game because he put too much trust in people. But I really do think that he is trusting Cirie for more, hey, help me out, instead of, hey, I need you to go further. I really think that he's,
well, I mean, his vehement do not vote Cirie out did end up saving her because they did not want to upset Ozzy. So, I mean, I understand that, but I just don't see, he even says, like, I need Cirie because she'll be the brains. But what was up with Cirie? Like, did she end up saving herself? It seemed like she was completely on the outside of that entire conversation from the edit. I know she wasn't, but, it's like, just seemed like she had no influence.
See much of it.
Right.
So
what do you think, Bree?
Well, my thoughts on this whole thing. First of all, a couple things happened in last night's episode. First, Jenna was voted out. Kyle left by injury. So in my brain, if I'm old school and I'm playing this I'm seeing the first out is old school.
Mhm.
And that's, if I'm old school player, that's got to pretty much shake me to my core and be
Yep.
like, what the, like, why would you not stick together? So I think we're going to see really that's, I think that's going to affect everyone old school. They're going to
Mhm.
really want to stick together. And
Mhm.
they're like, we can battle these things
Mhm.
out
Mhm.
down the road. I want to get, I think the focus will go to Savannah. I think Kyle would have been a target had he stayed in. Um, I'm not sure about Dee and where she's sitting with things, but I think if they're smart, they get rid of all these winners. Because I mean, Dee is pretty formidable. I think Savannah's already made so many mistakes in this game that she should be the easiest vote at this point. So I think Savannah will hopefully be gone. But I really worry because I think that seeing Jenna go first, because there is that thing about who went home first, right?
Yeah.
And for it to be Jenna, it's going to rattle their boots a bit. So
Yeah.
I think that's going to come into play. I think they're going to really stand strong together and go, okay, we got to get rid of a few of them before we come for us, right?
Right.
So we got to do that. So I think we'll see that. So I think it's going to be Savannah. I'm not sure about Genevieve. I don't know that she's going to be a problem, but I do see that, like, I'm looking at them right now going, okay, let me see. I think it's probably going to be D, maybe a little bit if if they lose.
Mhm.
Because I think that she's, they got the fullest team right now because the two other teams have all each lost someone. I don't know. That's my concern with how it's going and how we're moving forward in this game. I think this shakes them up. I think
Which is
it's
very
going to.
ironic because they didn't vote her off because she's old school. They voted her off because she opened up her mouth too fast, trying to take down another old school. And I agree with you. If you are old school, you need to be thinking, especially Colby, who's season 2, being like, hey, season 1 just got voted off.
That's right.
Anything you can do to bring a group of people together, he needs to be like, hey, like, we need to watch out because this could be the order. Did you watch Winners at War? That happened. So I agree.
I
They need
think
to watch.
that it could spook the old school players too, because the old school players are perceived as more of threats. So then the old school players perceive the other old school players as the threatening part to them. So they need to get them out before they get them. But then it just cascades and they all.
And the
And then all of
question,
a sudden it's new school.
yeah, and the question becomes, can old school play with new era and take out that middle group? I think that could be a thing in the future. So that's why I'm kind of excited about the Colby Riz God thing. Not because I'm a fan of necessarily a Riz God yet. Maybe I became a fan last time and I started low. Who knows what's going to happen with Riz God?
You're Colby. You're
I love Colby.
Yeah. He looks good, man. Dang, this guy.
Those are goals.
Colby, yeah, he's doing good.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's attracting a whole new audience this time.
But he was
I guess
doing
he was.
the trombone.
I like it though. He's like, you can't talk to me in this ear. My eyes are bad. He's like, he's just such a cowboy. Like, this guy's awesome.
He is a cowboy.
Yeah, but what is it? The light blue Kalo tribe. They're so stacked. They got Jonathan, who's 3 tribe members in one,
for a while.
And then they got Camilla, who I think she's like so good at puzzles. Like, is she the best puzzler on? We'll see. Maybe one of the brainiacs will beat her, but like that tribe, I just don't see them losing anytime soon.
Yeah. Okay, so then here's my other question of the day. We've talked about this over the last couple of years, and it's one of the reasons that I adore Sandra so much. When she came back as a winner and won, I mean, we knew a winner was going to win in season 40 because they were all winners. So somebody, that I don't think is a Tony, I think you're great and I'd love to have you on the show, but Sandra's win to me is bigger than your win because she was the only returning winner and she made it through and won again. So now that we've had those seasons happen and we have 2 winners left, if one of the 2 winners, if Savannah or Dee win this season, does that make one of them queen? Because we've seen how Sandra did it, and we've seen and Tony's win. Now you have all the information. Are you going to let a winner win twice?
I'm going to say it's undetermined at this time, because if I were to go back and be like heroes versus villains at the end of episode 1 of that, man, if Sandra wins this game, is she going to be the best player ever, the queen of Survivor? She had one thing going for her, that she just got done playing. Well, no, I guess not just got done playing. There's Pearl Islands. So I guess it was a while before she was back, right? Because Rupert came back for that. Never mind. I'm going to recant that statement. I'm going to say that, again, back to episode 1, Sandra, if she wins this, she had to do a lot for Heroes versus Villains to win that. And keep in mind also, many of us still think that Parvati was actually the one who should have won that season. I'm not a believer. I think if you win the Game of Survivor, you deserve to win the Game of Survivor, because that's how you won the Game of Survivor. But I don't think her second win was as clear cut. Pearl Island, she took on Lil at the end. So let's not forget that either. I think if you look at Savannah and what she had to do, she was at the end with, wasn't it close with her and who was with
Riz?
I mean, who was in the top 3? It was Riz went home 4th. Who was that? Or Riz went home as 4th place. Who would she go up against? Help me out, Chad.
I don't even know.
I don't even know.
It was Sophie and Sage.
Okay. And so it was a close one from what I remember. And then if you look at D, I think so. D played such a kick-ass game.
I would say D could have an argument because she's coming in as a big threat to this game. She was seen as super dominant. I think the asterisk on her is she used a relationship, which is not off the table. I mean, that's very cutthroat, like she's willing to do. So does that actually get her bonus points? So yeah, I think if D wins, I'm just not a Savannah lover. I just don't think Savannah's season was strong. I don't think the competition was good. They came up from the bottom, and now they said that a million times. But Savannah, I mean, they're kind of, it's first episode, but she has an advantage. They're kind of painting this kind of comeback, she's not threatening. They know she won, but they don't know all the details of why she won. So that's kind of, even though she's a winner, they don't really have insight into it. So that could actually make her kind of hard to read in some ways, because they're like, why did she win? Right? Was it because she was loyal? Was it because she was tricky? They don't know her game, which is a really difficult thing. Everyone else's game is known.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why I think D also has that leverage of becoming the queen or right by Sandra. Plus, D has more of a versatile, variety impacted game. She participates in challenges and wins them. She's social. She's cutthroat. She got a guy to think that, hey, we're going to be in love forever. And
right. D is so much more charming, which I think that's what makes her more of a threat. Is Savannah, she's nice, but she just doesn't charm me. Like, she's got really good, she's like the reporter, right? She looks at you, she's like very attentive. She's got a nice smile. He's got a great smile, super charismatic, like she's looked at as a threat in the new school, which is a hard thing to do.
Yeah. So for that reason, if she wins this, I'm going to be really surprised, because she's not on my list of coming close to this. So if she wins, man, to be like, hey, I won.
That's what I'm saying. Would that then make them the right?
Yeah.
Because we talked a little bit about, the queen and all this. And here's the thing I want to reply to this, because I know we have to wrap things up. Gardy's saying never another 2-time winner, I believe. They all said so much in the preseason interviews. Yes. But Jenna was like, I'm getting rid of the winners first. And then she went for Cirie. So
yeah,
I'm not buying that.
Yeah. And do you take somebody to the end? Like, I don't think Sandra was taken to the end. She did a lot of things during her game socially, but do you ride that and be like, hey, she's not going to win anyway, so we're going to take her longer and longer into the game because they're not going to give her the $1 million at the end? Don't do that.
Don't do that. We know it can happen.
I mean, not D. I mean, but there's maybe a likelihood of Savannah, because she doesn't have the narrative going in. So she comes actually in with a disadvantage. If you take what Christian said, this is about stories and stories within stories. Savannah doesn't have a story. Rizzo doesn't have a story, and that could actually play a lot against them at a final tribal situation.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which is why
it's not already in people's minds.
Which is why I think Colby's going to send Savannah home or not Savannah, they're not in the same tribe, but I think that's why they should sit in Savannah home, because work with the devil you do know than the devil you don't know.
Exactly.
They just have that against them. 49 has a lot against them still. Yeah.
All right, we're going to cut there. We'll see you guys next week. We're so excited. We'll have some guests coming in. We got more players hanging out with us next week or the weeks coming up. I can't wait. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, guys. We'll see you guys next time.
One more thing.
Yeah.
The NUA is a new Facebook group that we are now.
Oh, yes.
Their podcast, which is, I hope so. We're going to be featured a lot on there. So join the group. VANUA is Fijian for Community. It's a Facebook group, and there's 22,000 people that were put on that group. And the only reason this group was started was because some guy named Bobby Burney, great guy, basically sent a message to like 20 survivor friends he knew. Hey, let's help each other out with this clues challenge. Let's give each other help. And the group turned into a 22,000 person Facebook survivor fan group, which is awesome. So please join it, because we will be taking questions from that group and throw them on the show. And we want you guys also to special guest with us on our podcast.
We'll see you guys next time. Thanks, everybody. Bye.